Hey guys, welcome to Quinian's Budget Crafts. After the first floor, I had run out of sticks, but thanks in part to my wonderful patrons, I was able to get more sticks. So, let's do this. I've been asked a few times how long this takes. After putting the tape down, not counting the trimming or anything, this took an hour all told to lay them all out onto the tape. Maybe 2 hours if you count putting out the tape and trimming it and all that good stuff. Well, I've got you here watching the time lapse, so just go ahead and remind everybody don't forget about the giveaway. And I might as well get the rest of that out of the way while I'm here too. So if you want to support the channel and help me buy more sticks, you can do so over on Patreon, or a one-time donation on Ko-fi, or buy a roller in the Etsy store, or go to my website, use the Amazon affiliate links to pick up the kind of supplies and stuff that I like to use. And of course, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Subscribe and share is probably the most important because the faster it gets to 1,000, the more rollers in the box. There's a guaranteed minimum of 15 items in there, not counting the sticker. So the faster it's at 1,000, the more of those 15 will be rollers because I don't have 15 prototypes yet. Anyway, back to the video. Okay, so this floor is going to go on top of this one, but this is the bottom side, so everything's going to be flipped around the other way. If you remember, these two corners here aren't exactly the same, but that's okay, because in order to get our layout on the other one, but the new floor we just did, you're going to flip this one over on top of it, outline it, trim it, and then flip the whole thing back over onto the foam. So because of the flipping, it'll end up being the exact same. So it's pretty hard to see what I'm doing here, but basically you just flip it over upside down on top of the new floor you just laid down, and then you trace out the corners all around the whole thing, and then you reach underneath and put a little mark where those inside corners are. Then you can use your straight edge to connect everything and trim it accordingly. Once you have everything all trimmed out, go ahead and go through and collect all your sticks that you didn't use. I mean, a lot of these are still full length. There's absolutely no reason to throw them away. And then the ones that are shorter, then, you can use them for something. Might as well keep them. For the floor on this one, what we're going to do is use the dollar store ready board because the EPS is going to be really thick, like way too thick. So just put your wood down on top of that and roughly trim around it, or don't, doesn't really matter. Go ahead and spray down the foam with some Super 77 and stick it on there. And then weigh it down with something heavy, kind of like the bottom floor here. Just leave that to dry for about an hour or so. Once the extra Super 77 isn't really very tacky anymore, you can go ahead and start peeling the tape off the wood, and then trim the foam off from around the edge of the wood. You don't need to be too exact here because you're going to need to do some more trimming, but get it close so you can see what's going on. Now go ahead and stack it on top of your bottom floor, and then use the edge of the wall there to measure all the way around and mark it, and trim it a little bit smaller so that it fits inside the edge of the outer wall. Once you've got that all marked out, go ahead and put your square on it and trim off where your new lines are. On this one, we're going to do all of the exterior walls first. And remember when we cut this to be the thickness of the foam inset from the bottom floor? That is so that these exterior walls will touch the exterior walls of the bottom floor, meaning that these walls need to be 2 1/4 inch height, or the 2 inches plus one thickness of foam plus the thickness of a coffee stir stick, so that when it's on the mat and the floor is on the mat, then that matches a 2-inch wall. So just go ahead and glue your exterior wall all the way around. The reason we did it this way is because the windows. Most of these windows on the top floor have a corresponding window below them. So rather than measure, I wanted to make sure that the windows actually matched each other on the outside. It might mess with the dimensions on the inside a little bit, but not enough to worry about it. It's more important that they match on the outside. It's really simple. You just hold your ruler up to one of your windows or doors, whatever you're going off the top of. Put your window frame up against it and smash it into the foam. I'm actually going to do all the smashing and cutting off camera because I've got a camera right in front of my face and a light right next to that, and the whole thing's awkward and crooked. So it's much easier to do this off camera. There's really not a whole lot to say about the interior walls. I mean, it's just like the last one. I already went ahead and pre-cut them to length and cut out the windows and doors. I do want to point out, though, that it's pretty important to dry fit these before you put glue on them because a couple of them weren't cut quite right, so I ended up with some squigglies and had to redo that. For the hallways in the upstairs, I'm just using my ruler as the spacer between the outside wall and the hallway wall. The map shows it as being 1 inch, and this ruler is close enough to 1 inch, so that's good. That'll be fine. So we still have about 50 bazillion fireplaces to make, and then the exterior chimney thing for the fireplace and on 2 or 3 areas. Those we'll just do as detail afterwards. The next step would be to get the roof on so we have the entire structure. I was going to include the roof in this video. I've got all the panels and everything cut out here. I mean, they're not cut exactly to shape, they're just rough. But that's going to be extremely intensive and probably require a lot of explanation, so I'm going to save that for the next one. But I'll go ahead and get this thing coated in black and Mod Podge, and then spray paint it up to match the bottom floor. Otherwise, don't forget the giveaway. Like, share, comment, all that stuff, Patreon, coffee. Of course, thank you for watching, everybody. I'll catch you on the next one.